Hello everyone, Sangeeta Nath is back with the revision series of class 10 maths. It's there in 2 more days. I hope these videos are useful and beneficial to you all. Please watch the rest two videos that I'll be uploading today and tomorrow. Today's will be on coordinate geometry and AP, and tomorrow maybe similarity if I can finish. All right. Now here, this coordinate geometry will be made in two parts. The first part will be for both CBSE and ICSE. ICSE children have a few more extra formulas. So the first part would be covering these formulas, which is for both CBSE as well as ICSE. And the second part will be only for ICSE. All right. Let's start. So coordinate geometry, first of all, the quadrants, first quadrant, second quadrant, third and fourth, right? This is the x-axis, the y-axis. Equation of x-axis is y is equal to 0. Equation of any line parallel to x-axis is y is equal to the constant through which it is passing, right? X is 0, y is b. Similarly, any line parallel to y-axis would be of the form, equation of y-axis is x is equal to 0. That is the equation of y-axis. Equation of x-axis, any line parallel to y-axis will be x is a constant, the constant through which it is passing. So minus a in this case. Basics, right? Any point here is plus plus, that you already must be knowing. Coming to the next point, which says distance from x-axis and y-axis. Let me just ask that first. Say point minus 3, 0. What is its distance from x-axis? From x-axis. So the point is minus 3, 0. From x-axis, its distance is 0, right? X-axis, the distance is 0. And from y-axis, the distance is not minus 3. The distance is 3, right? Distance is a positive number. So from x-axis, the distance is 0. From y-axis, the distance is 3, not minus 3. Likewise, if I take a point here, say 5, 6, its distance from x-axis will be this, right? The y coordinate. Distance from x-axis will be 6. Distance from y-axis will be 5. All right? Okay, these are the basics. For CBSE, they have distance formula, section formula. Earlier, there was area formula, which is not there anymore. Distance formula, root over y2, x2 minus x1, whichever we may write first, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus 1 whole square, right? And section formula, so distance between two lines. Section form 2 points. Section formula is they would write dividing internally. Internally means the point lies between the given 2 points. Okay. Now, if the coordinates of this point are x and y, and this is x1, y1, b is x2, y2, and the ratio in which it divides is m is to n, then x coordinate of the dividing point would be, we just cross multiply, mx2 plus nx1 over m plus n. Likewise, y would be my2 plus ny1 over m plus n. These are the formulas for CBSE board. Now, one thing in CBSE, they kind of have given another technique to solve this. You may take the ratio as k is to 1 instead of m is to n, but it doesn't make much difference. Let's pull up some questions. A question says, now why I have taken this up is because it has something else there. The question says 3 points are given, okay? You have to show that a triangle can be drawn using these 3 points. A triangle can be drawn using these 3 points. How to show that? So 3 points are given. Now we do not know if a triangle can be formed, but anyway, just this diagram is not required. 3, 2, minus 2, 3, minus 2, minus 3, and 2, 3. The question says these points are there. Can we draw a triangle? So what do we do here? Find the lengths, okay? We do not know if a triangle can be drawn. So 3 points are there. Find the lengths. Find AB, root over BC and AC. Let me do this for you. So ABC. AB is x2 minus x1. Remember, while we are doing these questions, just mark them. Will not go wrong. In this equation, anyway, it doesn't matter much, but it helps to mark. Okay. There, suppose 3 points are there. All right, x2 minus x1. So minus 2 minus 3 whole square plus y2 minus y1 minus, since they are already written, right? It's easier to plug in. Minus 3 minus 2 whole square. This would be how much? 5 square, 25. This is 5 square, 25. Root 50. Root 50 is 5 root 2. Let us leave it like that. Let me take BC now. For BC, x3 minus x2. So 2 minus of minus 2 plus 3 minus of minus 3. This becomes how much? 4 square, 16, and 6 square, 36. Root 52. Let it be like that for the time being. Okay, and then now AC. So x3 minus x1, 2 minus 3 whole square plus 3 minus 2 whole square. That is how much? 1 square plus 1 square, that is root 2. Now how to show these, the triangle was not there. How to find out whether these three distances, these three lengths are good enough to make a triangle? How to find that? So here coordinate geometry is not being used. It is used till this only. After that, the idea of triangle, which says sum of any two sides should be greater than the third side, and difference of any two sides should be less than the third side, right? So we need to check that sum of two sides should be greater than the third side for each. So let us see that. Now, do we need to find these? That we have to kind of figure out. AB plus AC will be how much? AB plus AC, 5 root 2 plus root 2, which is 6 root 2. That is how much? 36. When 6 goes inside, 36 times 2, root 72. So root 72 is greater than root 52. That is clear. Now how to do these two? Sum of these two should be greater than this, root 52 and root 2. So here, if you cannot find just like that, you'll have to find the square roots, add and check. All right. So it helps if you just find out this was okay, but we will actually need to find the sum of other two. So find the square roots, which I have already discussed in the previous videos. So I'm not going to teach that here. Find the square roots and see sum of any two sides. So take two sides greater than third side, take the other two sides, check. Okay, and the difference of two sides should be less than the third side. That is the theory that has to be applied here. The next question that I pulled up is show that I'm not going to do that question here. Show that the 4 points given form a square. For that, what do we do? To show it's a square, find all sides. And will it be sufficient? All sides will only give us a rhombus, right? If the question says prove that these 4 coordinates make a rhombus, then finding all sides, and if all sides equal will make it a rhombus, but not a square. For square, first all sides need to be equal, and second diagonals need to be equal. So you need to find all 6 lengths. All right. For rectangle, again you have to find all sides. all sides equal and diagonals also equal, but that way all sides you have to find and diagonals equal. So for rectangle, if I find opposite sides equal, will it make it a rectangle? This will only make it a parallelogram, right? Opposite sides equal make it a parallelogram. So second that we have to check is diagonals equal also for rectangle. Fine. So for square, all sides equal and diagonals equal. For rectangle, all side opposite sides equal and diagonals equal. So these are all for distance formula. Let's see if I have another question from distance. Yeah, the question says a point is equidistant from 2 points. Okay, 7, 1 and 3, 5. A point is equidistant from these 2 points. Tell me if I am doing correctly. X, Y is equidistant from these 2 points. This is one major mistake committed by children most of the time. The moment they see equidistant, this is what they tend to do. These points are equidistant but not collinear. Okay, not mentioned. The question only says the points are equidistant, so this diagram would be wrong. The points are equidistant means the distances are equal, they may be anywhere. Need not be in a straight line. All right. So the question said find a relation between x and y such that the points are equidistant from these two. So find the distances, okay, using formula and then equate, squaring both the sides. That you can do, I'm sure. Okay. I'll be highlighting the mistakes that you make and how to solve a few questions in case required. Find the point on x-axis which is equidistant from 2 points. So point on x-axis which is equidistant from 2 points, any point on x-axis is of the form x0, it is equidistant from 2 points, okay? Find distance formula. The point would be x0. If it is a point on y-axis, the point would be 0, y. Fine. So this is all about distance formula. The next one is section formula. Section formula, already I wrote the formula. I'll do some questions here. Here I just want to discuss, for CBSE, to prove that 3 points are collinear, you need to use distance formula. This ICSE children would do using slope, right? So use distance formula. What do we do here? To show 3 points are collinear. A, B and C are collinear. So 3 points would be collinear if sum of any two. So find all the three lengths. If sum of any two should, if it is equal to the third one. Okay. AB plus BC. AB plus BC could be anywhere, need not be midpoint and all. AV plus BC, if that is equal to AC, that means they are in a straight line. This is what CBSE children would do. ICSE children would find slope and do that also would work. All right. Now, for this section formula, M is to N type question, let me see. Midpoint section formula has x equal to mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n, and y will be y2 plus, it is cross multiplied, right? So what if they are midpoints? What if they are midpoints? Then the ratio would become 1:1, right? Hence for midpoint, the formula becomes x1 plus x2 by 2 and y is y1 plus y2 by 2. Clear? I pulled up a question which says, find the coordinates of the points of trisection. Points of trisection. So, the points are I would just tell you how to do this. Not going to solve each because I want to make the video short. Okay. to find the points of trisection. Trisection, so to find point P, you can take, so this is 1 is to 1 is to 1, right? The ratio. So if I take AP is to PB, AP is to PB is 1 is to this part, 1 is to 2, right? Once you get AP, this point P, once you get this, you can use midpoint for Q, correct? Or you may use, this is 2 is to 1. You may use that ratio or 1 is to 1. Either would work. This is for trisection. If it is divided into 4 parts, similarly 1 is to 1 is to 1. 4 parts, suppose. So what will happen? 1, 2, 3. So P, Q, R, S. 4 parts, right? So what will happen? This part is 1 is to 3. And then this part would be from here 3 is to 1. Once you get P and Q, Q is the midpoint of PR. P and R, Q is the midpoint of PR, right? Okay, then any question that I think is important? A question says, to prove, now for a parallelogram you can use section formula, right? The diagonals bisect each other. Instead of taking distance formula, take section formula. So points are given in order 1, 2, this is 4y, this is x, 6, and the fourth coordinates are 3, 5. Question says, if these are the vertices of a parallelogram taken in order, find x and y. So to find x and y, we can find the midpoint from both diagonals, okay, midpoints of the diagonals. For this, what are the midpoints? I mean, the coordinates would be x1 plus x2, so 7 by 2 and 5 plus y by 2, right? So from here we got this. Now for here, from here the points would be x plus 1 by 2 and 6 plus 1, 7 by 2, correct? So the same point O can be found using both the diagonals. Now since they are the same points, we can equate them, correct? And find x and y. Alright, this is to be done for parallelogram question. Have I pulled up any other? Yes, one more I'll just mention here and then I'll take up 2 questions. I hope the video doesn't become too long. What was it? The question that, oh yeah, so this has come in boards so many times. A, P, B. Okay, now the ratio AP over AB is 3 by 7. Just be careful, AP upon AB is given, hence this ratio would be 3 is to 4. Clear? Just be careful. This question has come in CBSE boards 2-3 times. So be careful. AP is to AB is given. So it becomes 3 is to 4. Correct? 3 by 7. So it's 3 is to 4. And then 2 more questions I pulled up. These are from exemplar. Point P divides the line. So it says P divides the line segment joining -1, 3 and 9, 8. Okay, this line is divided by point P in some ratio. Ratio is K is to 1, AP is to BP. That is K is to 1 in that ratio. Okay, and if P lies on the line, P lies on the line, x minus y plus 2 is 0. Then find the value of K. Okay, okay. Now P lies on this line. What do we do here? Find P using ratio. Since P is on this line, put the values of x and y coordinates here and solve for K. So the point P would become how much? Let's see. K into 9. mx2 plus 1 into minus 1. Fine. 9k minus 1 upon k plus 1. And here k into 8. 8k plus 3 upon k plus 1. This is point P. Now this point is satisfying this equation. So this x and y when plugged in here should become 0. So instead of x, write 9k minus 1 by k plus 1. For minus y, 8k plus 3 by k plus 1 and plus 2 is equal to 0. Solve for k. Alright. One last question. It says that a point is one second. Yeah, px is a point on the line AB. A is A0 and B is 0B. Then show that P is a point on this. Okay, P is a point on this. Now we know this is basically on the axis. This is A0 and this is 0B. ICSE children know the intercept form. These are the intercepts, that is section cut on the x-axis and y-axis. You're asked to show that x by a plus y by b is equal to 1. This is the intercept form of that equation. Point P is xy. For CBSE, how do you show this? So let the ratio be m is to n. Alright. So 0 into m. X coordinate will be how much? This xy should be, okay, let me write x and y because I would need that to prove what is asked. So x is equal to m into 0, 0, n into a. So n times a over m plus n. And y would be y m into b by m plus n. Fine. So x by a will be how much? X by a will be n by m plus n and y by b would be m by m plus n, correct? So add them. X by a plus y by b is n by m plus n plus m by n m plus n. When you add these two, you'll get 1 and that's how it is proved. Okay. So we are done with the first part of coordinate. The second part will be exclusively for ICSE children. Okay. Thank you for watching.